It was a joke.
It's a joke.
A joke. Democrats don't understand the word joke. Actually, Republicans don't have any sense of humor either. But the people that have the less sense of humor are the guys. Comedians tend to be the left. I mean, they tend to really be to the left, and which means they're Democrats, and they don't understand the humor. They don't understand ethnic humor. They don't understand
which
satire.
comedian was it? Was where it's like no matter what race or religion you were, you would come away offended, and that was intentional.
No, that was the Monty Python with the Life of Brian. You know, we offended everyone with this movie, which means we did it right. You know, so
I know with political correctness there would be no Monty Python.
There would be no Monty Python, and you know the day. Okay, today there would be no Benny Hill on British television, because I remember before Benny Hill died, he was the saddest man on earth because he's still a young man. He couldn't get on television because
Are you serious?
They said he was not politically correct for America. So, because
you don't watch Benny Hill for political correctness.
No, you watch Benny Hill because Benny Hill was funny, and he always had the hottest
dirty
looking,
old man.
dirty old man. You know, he always dressed up. Like I said, the problem with what used to be with British comics, they all dressed like their mothers.
You know they do. I mean, look at Eddie Izzard and you know all these British comedians.
They all, but it's all right to be gay though. You can be like the one guy. You know, like the Graham Norton show. He said he did one of these. His family did one of these reality shows, and you know, his father is a vicar, and his brother is archbishop, and his mother is a member of parliament. His sister is such and such. And they asked, "Has your son ever done anything to embarrass you?" He says, "I'm a flaming queen." They would say. No, that doesn't embarrass. That's not embarrassing in Britain, you know. No, but if he'd have said, you know, well, I'm a conservative member, and I want to lower taxes. Oh my God, that would have been.
That would have been it.
Yeah, or if he'd have put a dress on, and made fun of the women's movement, that would have been in trouble.
He would have gotten in trouble for that one.
Well, yeah, because there are things you can't make fun of. I mean, I can. Years ago. You know why Richard Dawson came to the United States to work, even though he was a British comedian?
Why?
He was married to Diana Dors. He did a live performance. They did, you know, when they do these command performances, they run everything by the royal family before it's said. And Lloyd Bridges was in the audience, and he just simply made the joke. You know, he said, "We owe so much money to the Americans. You know, why didn't the Queen just have Bridges swim the country over to the United States?" And basically that caused a massive ruckus. Politically incorrect to say that. And she thought it was hilarious, the Bridges. And it was all planned. You know, he looks up to the Queen of England, gives her the thumb up, and it was all planned, but it was not politically correct to have done that. So Dawson came to this country, became a star. You know, it cost him his wife, cost him his place.
We're doing that?
Yeah. It wasn't politically correct.
Well, they get in Britain, they're very traditional.
Yeah, but go look at old Eaton Brothers comedies, which they've been running on the Turner Classic Movies. You see, they are basically, they go after everybody. I mean, you know, it said, St. Trinian's movies where Alistair Sims is playing the female headmaster, and these girls are wearing, you know, little French maid outfits with their rears showing at tops.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. You know, there was a girls' school where girls had legs like you wouldn't believe, and were never below the age of 18 in the girls' school. And they're little monsters, they were. But that was what that used to be. It's what made British comedies different, was they actually did satire. You can't do that anymore in a British comedy. Monty Python, has there been anybody to replace Monty Python in the last 35 years?
No.
No.
Nothing like that.
Because every one of those people is gone because they're not permitted, because they don't sell in the United States. It's just like another thing. They had a television series called Due South with one of Canada's better, you know, he's a singer, and he's their top-selling singer. He's a great actor, athletic. And they were making fun of things. Canadian Mountie came to the United States and basically did everything totally inappropriate. They canceled him out because even though it was a massively popular show in Canada and Great Britain, the American audience was offended by the show.
Oh.
Yeah. So it got axed because it wasn't politically correct. And Republicans don't take it serious. Republicans, well, we gotta stop it. You don't see them stopping it. Like I said, you're gonna, it's just like they tell you, you know, that while you may know how to use it, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's why, you know, and it's, we're gonna lose it. Republicans, this is Tuesday when this is being done. Republicans didn't take the shooting and the consequences of it serious Saturday. They didn't take it serious Sunday. They didn't take it serious Monday. Tuesday, the Democrats have not backed off 1 inch about taking everybody's rights away.
I know. See, part of it, this is where you as a citizen should stand up to your congressperson, or man, or woman, or whatever.
The Democrats say that's hate speech.
Why?
You cannot stand up to them.
Okay, contact them.
If you contact them, it's hate speech.
Why would that be hate speech?
Because you're saying something that they don't want you to say. That will be listed as hate speech. You cannot talk to a congressman, you cannot contact a congressman, you cannot write to a congressman, period, because that would be considered to be hate speech now.
See, isn't that ridiculous? Because the congressperson is elected to serve the interests of their district.
But since they don't serve the interests of their districts anymore,
and you can't communicate with them.
You no longer can communicate with them. It's just, they stopped communicating people with the Democratic Party when the Tea Party started coming to their rallies, and they were blaming them. Well, these are agitators from around the community. No, they were registered Democrats. They weren't Republicans, they were registered Democrats. So they didn't do the will of the people, and they figured out now, let's use this to our advantage. And I heard it flat out say last night that we're going to do what Obama did on health care. We're going to do what Jerry Brown is preparing to do in California, is just bypass the Congress of the United States and just do what they're going to do, which is, to, you know.
And that's horrible.
Look, net neutrality, Republicans haven't taken it seriously, and under net neutrality, you're going to lose. There's only one viral thing left standing, that's YouTube. And
well, there is Daily Motion.
Daily Motion, that's out of France, though.
And there's Vimeo.
Yeah, but Vimeo is mostly they want you to.
They want series, and you pay for the.
Yeah.
And even when you pay for it, you don't have that much bandwidth.
No, we got a little bandwidth, which is why we don't use it as much. But Google is a supporter of Barack Obama and the Democratic Party. They want to shut Google down entirely. They want to cut it off.
I know. Isn't one of the executives from Google on the board?
Yeah.
On one of his boards?
Yeah,
or
but they have decided that we have to save the internet for the people, and the best way to save the internet for the people is to restrict speech. And they will got to turn the control of speech and the internet over to those people that have the public interest in their the best interest of public interest, which is the television networks and the major newspapers. What do you think Cox Broadcast and why Comcast wants NBC? Because with NBC, they then become one of the people deciding what the internet should be like, and they also are the largest cable provider in the country and the largest internet provider. That's why the FCC is basically saying, well, okay, it's all right if you have NBC, but you're going to have to get rid of the cable. Yeah, which isn't going to happen, which means the cell is just stalled. It's been stalled since Obama became president.
Which has been, what, is this year 2?
Year 2 of this being stalled. And
yeah.
There's already been a changeover in management because the cell there's no reason to stall it, except for the fact that they bought the thing simply so they could keep their internet. And the internet is where they make their money, not on selling the
Actually, you know
cable.
what, I just realized, he came into office in 2010, right?
In 2008.
Was it 2008? Oh,
Yeah.
So now it's year 3. He's had 2 full years, and so now we're into year 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's into, and the Republicans, well, he has to move to the center. No.
Oh, that's right, because
He did nothing the first day of the year. He had 500 pages of new anti-business and anti-personal rights legislation. We'll put it this way too. A very simple thing. Under Obamacare, the Gifford woman would not have gotten the treatments that she's getting, and none of the other
people would be. In fact, all of them would just be dead.
Yeah,
right?
they'd all be dead because it doesn't cover that sort of stuff. Right now,
it doesn't cover, or would it have been closed and they had nowhere to take them?
they had nowhere to take them, but it also doesn't cover things like this. It doesn't, because they're going to shut down emergency rooms. Also, she's got Army personnel that are used to head wounds are now there treating her also. the experts in the field. They would not be allowed to work on her under Obamacare.
Interesting. They brought them in, huh?
They brought them in because they needed people that knew more about head damage because, I mean, like I pointed out before, was it 2011 now, 46 years ago I was shot in the head. I have a plate on the side of my head that basically sticks through the skin, you know, and it's always because they never could be, they weren't that great about, you know,
closing things
closing
up.
things
I mean,
up.
medical technology has advanced.
So basically when they stretch the skin over, the metal thing just still shows through. You see a light line all the way down the side of my face. So, but under Obamacare, they would have treated me. Okay, also, I was like this when I was born. My bed was a shoebox for some time. I'd have been tossed in a trash can under Obamacare. And Republicans simply don't point out the realistic things. Right now, you should be I would be jumping all over the fact that under Obamacare, she wouldn't be getting the treatment that she's getting.
Yeah.
Because congressmen have a different health plan, and their health plan doesn't cover what happened. And she was also one of these people too that said, I will join the Obamacare plan because I voted for it and I have to show people I believe in it. Well, her belief would leave her dead if Obamacare was in there. But if you don't stand up for your rights, you're going to lose the Second Amendment, folks. The Democrats have specifically said, we don't want to restrict speech, we want to restrict hate speech, and we will decide what is hate speech.
In other words, they want to restrict the Second Amendment.
Yeah, they will decide which words are not right to say.
Actually,